Hello everyone, welcome to Borthakur's IAS Academy, Northeast's premier institute for UPSC, APSC and NPSC preparations. I'm your friend Atreyi and today I'm here with another segment of Current Affairs 365 dated 13th of November 2021. This is your one-stop solution for any news and updates which will help you prepare for your civil services examination, and along with that it is also going to be beneficial for any other Assam state government services. So don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Facebook as well as Instagram for any further details related to job notifications. The first news for today is about floodplain zoning. This news will be tagged under GS Paper 1 and GS Paper 3 under the subtopics of geographical features and their locations and disaster management. Recently, a Comptroller and Auditor General of India report on preparedness and response to flood was presented in the Kerala Assembly, and it was all about the Kerala floods of 2018. This report mainly pointed out that the state of Kerala is yet to enact floodplain zoning legislations even after 45 years of the union government circulating the model draft bill for floodplain zoning legislation. So the basic concept behind floodplain zoning is to regulate the land use in the affected areas in order to restrict the damages which are caused by floods every year. Along with that, it also aims towards determining the locations and the extent of areas for any developmental activities so as to keep the damages at a minimum. Along with that, this also emphasizes on laying down limitations on the development of both protected as well as unprotected areas. In case of unprotected areas, boundaries of areas in which developmental activities will be banned are to be established to prevent the indiscriminate growth of those areas. And in case of protected areas, the developmental activities can be allowed only which will not involve heavy damage, and in case the protective measure which has been taken fails in future in case of flood. Zoning cannot be seen as a remedy of the existing situation, but in the long run it will definitely help in minimizing the extent of damage which is caused by flood, because we will already be aware of the vulnerable areas and accordingly we can evacuate or we can take such necessary measures. So India obviously is at a very high risk and is quite vulnerable towards floods every year, and on an average every year around 75 lakh hectares of land in our country is affected. Roughly 1600 lives are lost and there is damage to properties, crops, houses and other public utilities worth crores. So this model bill for floodplain zoning, it will provide clauses about flood zoning authorities. Then there will be information related to surveys and delineation of floodplain area. Along with that, there will also be important notifications of the limits of floodplains with prohibition of the use of floodplains and compensation of the for removing obstructions to ensure free flow of water during flood situation. So, however, along with that, there are certain challenges in its implementation. The main being resistance on the part of the states to follow up various aspects of the floodplain management, including possible legislation. The reluctance of the state, it is mainly due to population pressure and the want of alternative livelihood systems. There is the response from the state governments is quite lukewarm in this regard, and this has further fueled a significant increase in encroachments into the floodplain. Sometimes these are even authorized and duly approved by the town planning managements. There are many related constitutional provisions and other measures to identify the areas which are vulnerable towards flood and to act accordingly during such situations. The National Disaster Management Authority of 2008, it has issued guidelines for states for floodplain zoning as an important non-structural measures in order to mitigate floods. It suggested that areas which are likely to be affected by flood in a frequency of 10 years, those areas should be reserved for green areas like parks, gardens and others, while the concrete structures should not be allowed in those areas. As flood, it causes major damage to both life and property every year. It is high time for both the central as well as state government to prepare something which is long-term based, and it goes beyond measures like building embankments and dredging to control floods. There is also a need for a platform which will have an integrated basin management plan that will bring all the river basin sharing countries together along with the Indian states which are on board. The next news is related to the first joint naval exercises that has been conducted between the countries of US, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Israel. From forces from United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Israel, and the United States Naval Forces Central Command, they began a multilateral maritime security operation exercise in the Red Sea. This is the first publicly acknowledged exercise between the countries, and the UAE and Bahrain in 2020 they normalized diplomatic relations with Israel under the Abraham Accords, and they were brought together by the shared concern about Iran and related economic gains. The USS Fifth Fleet of the Naval Forces Central Command, it is based in the Gulf Island state of Bahrain, and it operates in the Arabian Gulf, Gulf of Oman, Red Sea, and parts of Indian Ocean. Since February this year, Iran and Israel they have been accused of being engaged in what is known as the shadow war, in which vessels which are linked to each nation have come under attack in waters, ground, and in a matter of tit for tat exchanges. So the 5-day exercise in the Red Sea is intended to enhance interoperability between the participating forces, and along with that, maritime collaboration also helps safeguard freedom of navigation and free flow of trade. The exercise includes boarding, search and seizure training on the USS Portland. Red Sea coming to the area where this exercise is being conducted. It is an area which is being bounded by the northeastern Africa on its west and Arabian Peninsula towards the east. The elongated narrow-shaped basin of the river, it extends between the Mediterranean Sea in the northwest and the Indian Ocean in the southwest. Along with that, it separates into, in the northern end, it gets separated into the Gulf of Aqaba and the Gulf of Suez, which is connected by the Mediterranean Sea via the Suez Canal. This river is being surrounded by desert or semi-desert areas with no major inflow of fresh water. The 6 bordering countries of this sea includes Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Sudan, Eritrea, and Djibouti. The next news is about USA joining the International Solar Alliance. US has become the 101st country to join this International Solar Alliance. The Port General Assembly of this alliance was held recently. And this is an intergovernmental treaty-based organization which has a global approach to catalyze the solar growth by helping to reduce the cost of financing as well as technology. It also is the nodal agency for implementing the approach of one sun, one world, one grid. This International Solar Alliance is an Indian initiative which was launched by the Prime Minister of India along with the President of France on 30th of November 2015 in Paris. On the sidelines of the Conference of Parties 21. It had the 121 solar resource rich countries which lies fully or partially between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn as prospective members. Currently, there are 101 members of this alliance after USA joined them. The headquarters of this group is in India and its interim secretariat is at Gurugram. Main objective of this alliance is to collectively address the common challenge of scaling up solar energy in the member countries. New ISA programs have been launched on management of solar panels and battery usage water along with solar hydrogen program. Moving ahead to the next news, which is about the India-Sweden Innovation Meet. On 26th of October 2021, India and Sweden celebrated the 8th Innovation Day. This year's theme was Accelerating India-Sweden Green Transition. India is all set and is well on its way to meet and exceed its Paris climate commitments. On the other hand, Sweden's goal is to achieve net zero emissions by 2045 and negative net emissions after that. India and Sweden are together in the United Nations-led Industrial Transition Program named as Leadership Group for Industry Transition. Both the nations have the impacts of innovation with launch of hybrid green steel with low carbon footprint in a sector that mostly accounts for approximately 30% of the global greenhouse gas emissions. Moreover, both the nations' innovation collaborations are further guided by India-Sweden Innovation Partnership along with the Joint Action Plan. In 2018, the Joint Action Plan was signed to include smart cities, innovation, and the next generation transport. Along with that, the Department of Biotechnology is already engaged with Swedish partners on Incubator Connect, digital healthcare, and Global Bio India programs, which further enhances the partnerships of both the nations in the field of biotechnology. Along with that, both the nations are also going to have a new joint call on circular economy, which includes the theme like health science and waste to wealth. Circular economy is all about giving incentives to reusing products rather than scraping them and extracting new resources. So they have agreed to launch this new call of circular economy in 2021-22 on broad themes like public health and prevention, health promotion organization, and provision of care for the elderly. If we look back at the relation between both the nations, then diplomatic relations were established in 1948 and thereafter it steadily strengthened over the decades. The first India-Nordic summit, it was organized in 2018 in Sweden. Along with that, Sweden participated in first India-Nordic Baltic Conclave, which was co-chaired by India in November last year. Both the nations also jointly launched the Leadership Group on Industry Transition in association with the World Economic Forum at the United Nations Climate Action Plan in the year 2019. And India is also Sweden's third largest trade partner after China and Japan in Asia.
And this was all for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it will be helpful. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'll see you all again tomorrow with another segment of Current Affairs 365 only on Borthakur's IAS Academy, Northeast's premier institute for UPSC, APSC and NPSC preparations. Till then, take good care of yourselves and keep learning. Bye-bye.
Borthakur IAS Academy. প্রস্তুতি আৰু অধ্যয়নৰ নিৰ্ভৰযোগ্য ঠিকনা।
Borthakur IAS Academy.